Welcome back for another book talk video. Today is the culmination of 3 days of looking at The Wizard of Oz and then The Great Gatsby. And now the book I'm not supposed to talk about, Fight Club. It's both the first and the second rule. You are not supposed to talk about Fight Club. I hope nobody shows up and gives me a beating because I talked about it. Because I think there's something for us to get out of talking about it. And I think there's something for you to get out of reading this book. Chuck Palahniuk is a bizarre writer, but Fight Club was his breakout success novel back in 1995. And then in 1999, the film Fight Club came out. And I need to admit, I saw the film before I read the book. Because quite frankly, I was young back in those days. I didn't always think to go check to see if a film was based on a book and to read the book before I saw the film. But my goodness, what a delightful, dark, sardonic satire of a film with philosophical and psychological messages to take in. I laughed a great deal at the movie. I've read articles online about how when David Fincher approached Brad Pitt about doing the film, he gave him the copy of the script. Brad Pitt read it, and he really liked the idea of the story because Brad Pitt himself seemed to embody a living human being, an actor who had everything he could ever want. He was dating Jennifer Aniston at the time. He was living a life of luxury, but he found that in those moments, you still end up alone just with yourself. It didn't matter how many great wealthy objects that you owned. So he felt like he connected with the message of the story. Edward Norton, who plays the unnamed narrator, said that he felt he was really into the idea of playing this character who is really questioning the idea that the things that you own end up owning you. You very much see that Chuck Palahniuk in the 90s was sick and tired of hearing people tell their children that they were special, unique snowflakes, because he combats that very idea with the quotes from the book telling people that they are in fact not special, unique snowflakes, trying to show how everybody really is just like everybody else, but doing it in such a dark, satirical sort of way. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about the year 1999 and the history of film, but I very much believe that 1999 was one of the most amazing years ever for film as well as music. A lot of great movies, a lot of great songs that came out in 1999, and an unfortunate side effect of that is that some of those films that came out at that time, like Fight Club, were not considered great financial successes because they were up against so many other amazing films at the time. But it just didn't hit with the audience at the time somehow. Once it came out on DVD, it became a cult classic. Everybody tends to know about it now, but even still, I'll keep this spoiler free. The film is different from the book. Even though I saw the film first, I enjoy the novel more than the film, and the novel has a different ending. They are very similar. They were able to take a lot out of the book and put it into the film, and a lot happens in the same sort of way. But to me, the most important difference comes at the end, and I find the ending of the novel to be more satisfying, really, than the ending of the film. If you didn't know, Fight Club does have some sequels. I don't know why Chuck Palahniuk decided to do it this way. Maybe it was other people who reached out to him to make it happen. But Fight Club 2 and Fight Club 3 are graphic novels. I've not read them. Unfortunately, they've gotten some really bad reviews, some low ratings, which did not make me highly inclined to go after them. Though, I do enjoy graphic novels. I do love Fight Club. I'm just afraid that the sequels will not live up to the original story and the great, to me, psychological questions that were brought forth from the satire of the novel and the film. But I did become a huge fan of Chuck Palahniuk because of Fight Club, and I spent a lot of time studying the work, which also resulted in me reading a lot of books by Chuck Palahniuk. So he is one of the authors that I've read the most books by. Now you may be wondering about my connecting of The Wizard of Oz to The Great Gatsby and to Fight Club, because on the surface I realize a lot of of people think that it's nonsense. They don't see it. But Chuck Palahniuk himself, in an afterword to a paperback edition of the book, said that when he wrote Fight Club, the novel, he was rewriting The Great Gatsby for a new generation. And he was taking the core ideas and themes and characters and just telling it a much different way. So it could be that Chuck Palahniuk either views The Great Gatsby very differently than mainstream audiences do, or he's really onto something here. And I spent a lot of time years ago connecting the dots, and it does work. You can connect a lot of the characters on through, but certainly the themes. The idea, L. Frank Baum with The Wizard of Oz, concerned about economics and what was happening, the greed complex, as you saw with the Emerald City, and then moving that into The Great Gatsby, the idea of prohibition and the gangsters being able to ironically make a ton of money off of that law, and the idea of the American dream as a through line in there, that people are supposed to be able to rise up from a low socioeconomic status, being viewed as poor in society, and they're supposed to be able to work hard and make a lot of money, and especially in Gatsby's case, serve in the military and try to prove himself, and that way, in addition to whatever illegal gangster stuff was going on in the background, to make his money. In Fight Club, we have a clear criticism of the way that people view money and wealth, the idea that people are obsessed with their appearances. Tyler Durden is just openly challenging the way that people view that. Hope you've enjoyed this way of connecting the literature together. Feel free to add more in the comments. We can discuss this as much as you want. Every day is a good day for a book talk. Peace.